Alright everybody, how's it going? Sorry I'm a little stuffed up, but today, part 1.5 of the Homelab series. Gonna be more talking than anything, going over some things that I've been trying to do, things that I've been trying to work out. So, first things first, let's go ahead and start here. As you guys can see, got all three hosts here, the Gen 9 and the two D3600s. Now, one thing that I do want to address, I'm not really the biggest fan of HP stuff, but their stuff is, number one, really inexpensive. Number two, they have really cheap parts online, and number three, they just work for the price. To be honest, it just comes down to price at this point. I'm not trying to spend absolutely insane amounts of money on general compute hardware. So yeah, that's that. Kind of wanted to just start the video by just saying why most of the stuff is HP. I feel like I didn't do a good enough job of explaining that in part 1. So yeah, that's that. Nothing's really changed except for the hypervisor. I'll talk about that here in a second. So I know the initial premise of this lab was to be running ESXi8. However, that's changed. I don't really think I want to run ESXi8 anymore. I think I prefer to run a Linux-based hypervisor, which I am kind of on the fence about, but alright, I'm trying to get this to focus so you guys can see what we're working with here. But yeah, as you guys can see, nothing's really changed too much. We've got the Mac Mini, router, VPN concentrator, blah blah blah, the gigabit switch, the high-speed switch, 40 gig Nexus. This is where Mac Pro is. It's not there right now, obviously. The HP G10s, which now have rails. Let me see if I can undo this without. Let's see. Yeah, these have rails now, which is nice. I was getting people in the comments saying, you should definitely have rails. And they're right. They're absolutely correct. I don't know why I didn't do this before, but these are really hard to get out because they're all plugged in right now. But all these, except for the, I don't have rails for the Store Virtual D3600s, but I do have the rails for this guy as well, which I'm probably not going to be able to pull. But okay, yes, I can. Perfect, yeah, there you go. You can see the rails there, but obviously I can't pull them all the way up because these are plugged in. But yeah, very cool stuff. I'm really enjoying the HPs, actually, to be honest with you. I know I didn't really talk the best about them, but man, for the price, these things are pretty cool. And we're only going to be buying more of them since they're so cheap. So I'm very excited to have some more compute for some of our compute-heavy tasks that we're going to be working on as my cat decides he wants to join in. His ball's over there, so yeah. Xserves, not really a whole bunch going on with these guys. Like I said, just shelves for the D3600s, obviously. So as far as software goes, for right now, I've been just testing a couple of configurations. This guy's running ESXi, and then these three are running one flavor of Red Hat. So one's running 7, one's running 8, one's running 9. Just testing different hypervisor modules and stuff, seeing which one works the best. I also had a nested Proxmox installation that absolutely took a dump on itself. Not going to get into that. So yeah, that's pretty much that. Nothing's changed, just testing stuff out. Now, I did record videos about me setting up some of the hypervisors, but they were so bad. I wasn't even talking about what I was doing. I was just doing it for 45 minutes and then barely talking about what I was doing. Just bad video. If you guys are interested, I can release it, but like I said, it's pretty crappy videos, so I don't want to really release those. So next up, obviously the primary setup. Nothing's really changed so far. Right now I'm just working on some Ansible and updating some Linux machines that have been neglected. So not really a whole lot going on here. Mac Pro. So the rails are actually bent for this, so this is where it's going to stay for a while until I force myself to buy brand new Apple rails, which are absolutely insanely expensive. Well, for rails, that is. They're like $300, so I'm going to have to to spend the money on that sometime soon here. But like I said, nothing's really changed so far on the setup. Obviously, it's a wreck with the cables right now because none of this is permanent. This is also subject to change within the next couple months anyway. So that's why nothing's like neatly cabled right now. Maybe once I get everything together, like in a permanent or semi-permanent way, things will get cleaned up better. But for right now, this is fine. I know it looks like crap, but for the next video, I'll probably dress it up. So yeah, so that's that. Coming over here, we have some new hardware, which is going to be part of a different rack, which we're going to be starting a different video series. Maybe. I'm not too sure just yet, but yeah, this is the DL380 G10. Let's see here if it will focus. Probably won't. This is a bare bones unit that I got for dirt cheap. I'm pretty sure you guys are starting to notice a theme here. Another dirt cheap HP server. I'm getting like stupid deals on these things, so every time I can find one for under $500, I grab it. This is one of a few I think I purchased. Now a couple of these are not for me. A couple of these are going to a company that we're selling to, and then a couple are for myself. So this guy in particular is, like I said, a bare bones unit. I'll go ahead and pop this open so you can see. And there you go. Like I said, bare bones as possible. Even for a bare bones unit, this is pretty cheap. I think it's like $270, $300, something like that. Comes with the back plane, which is nice. Comes with your air baffle. Comes with your PCI riser kit. I do want to get a second one of those. No power supplies, no RAID controller, which is fine. Obviously, no CPU heat sinks or RAM. That's fine. We got plenty of CPUs, plenty of RAM. But yeah. So this is going to be used for testing U.2 based NVMe drives in Red Hat, testing performance numbers, latency metrics, and we're also going to be testing out some RAID reliability metrics as well. So that's going to be some fun stuff. I'm excited to populate this thing with some U.2 NVMe's. Now, for my stuff, my personal stuff, I definitely do prefer to use M.2 just because of ease of use, and I think they're just a tad bit faster than U.2 anyway. But that's just what I've observed. That's not scientific by any means necessary as far as like a research thing goes. But anyway, U.2 NVMe testing testbed platform. This will be pretty low spec. This will be like maybe like 12 cores, something like that. It's going to have faster clock speed processors rather than a higher core count for latency testing. We are going to be populating this machine with a 40 gig FLR HPE Flex network card down there. You can't really see it, but down there somewhere, right there. So that's going to be fun as well. I did pick up quite a few of those, and like I said, those 40 gig network controllers are so cheap nowadays. You know, like you can get 4 of them for $40. It's crazy. Like I said, not really a whole lot has changed. I got some extra switches over there. So one thing I do want to talk about is the racks that the server racks that I'm going to be buying. There's not going to be any more of the open rack stuff. I'm going to try to get a full 42U rack for all the stuff we're going to be buying, just so that we have plenty of room for testing and plenty of room for any growth that we're going to do in the future. I think that's going to be the last rack purchase that I ever make. I don't want to keep switching racks and going back and forth between racks. So that's going to be the last rack change. I am going to be buying one half rack for down here. I don't want this over here anymore. It prevents me from getting to the stuff back there, and it's a little bit pain in the neck anyway. So I kind of want to move all this stuff into a full rack, and I'm going to have a half rack over here that I can roll around, and it's going to be on casters, and it's just going to house the Mac Pro and I think probably a couple of compute servers, which is going to be probably a couple of these guys. So yeah, that's the hardware stuff out of the way. Now the really important stuff I want to talk about is software. So like I kind of alluded to initially, we're not going to be doing ESXi 8 on the primary network anymore. That's a result of, number one, ESXi being sold off to Broadcom and them changing their subscription stuff. A lot of companies aren't using it anymore. A lot of companies are going to Linux-based hypervisors, Proxmox, a bunch of other different ones, XCP-ng. So that's also things that we're going to be using here. Like I said, I just started with Red Hat, 7, 8, and 9. It's not in that order, but just looking at what I want to do as far as like libvirt, KVM, and QEMU. I don't know how to pronounce it, but all that stuff's been tested. I do like the performance of the Red Hat 9 kernel modules for QEMU as far as like PCI pass-through and IO-MMU auto-grouping and stuff like that, so it's really nice. However, I still have a lot of testing to go with XCP-ng and even some Proxmox stuff. So even though I'm not a big fan of Proxmox, it's definitely a contender for what I want to do here. So yeah, that's some pretty cool stuff. But yeah, as far as software goes, that's that. As far as like subsystems, like stuff that's not the hypervisor, I have a pretty good base level configuration as far as like basic network services, NFS, domain, Active Directory stuff, identity management, some DNS stuff, obviously. Ansible controllers are all on this guy right here. Temporarily, until I get my actual compute stack up and running, I do have it running on this guy. Now this guy is actually super duper underpowered for what I'm doing. It's only got 64 gigs of RAM, so this guy is going to get swapped out with the guts of this guy, which is a Z840, which has two nice 12-core processors. I think they're 3 gigahertz apiece. So 24 cores at 3 gigahertz and 128 gigs of RAM. For whatever reason, I think this guy has a dead power supply. I'm not sure what happened exactly. So yeah, Z840, it's kind of a dead in the water right now, but there doesn't seem like a whole bunch of interest in people watching me get this guy back up and running anyway, so I might just go ahead and kill that project, might not. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Just a really short video of what's going on. I've done a very bad job of keeping a consistent upload schedule because of my, number one, my work schedule, number two, I just don't have the time. So because of the work schedule. So yeah, not a whole lot going on here. Some software configuration stuff behind the scenes. I did record me doing some of this stuff, but the video came out pretty terrible. So once I get better about kind of walking and chewing bubblegum at the same time with the software stuff, instead of just solely focusing on setting stuff up, I will record a nice video of me going through and setting up some of this stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much it right now. I really wanted to keep this short, sweet, to the point. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I will have another video coming up soon. So thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you next one.